my turn to talk?
It's your turn. Hope you figured that out.
We are so blessed. You know what I've witnessed this last week, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, is is the expression of the universe in our lives. And our talk is going to be kind of like that. When we can witness what's going on, not be attached to it or be affected emotionally too much about it, but to witness that it's all good and it's all God, even though the appearance of it may not be so. Anyway, I'm so grateful to be here, focusing on today's talk, which the talk for the whole month is living what we believe. What's kind of amazing about that is we always experience what we believe. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And so we're not looking at walking the talk. We're looking about expressing in manifest form that which we believe. There's a universal energy that says this, and there's a universal principle that says that which we focus on becomes an intention. So our awareness becomes an intention, and ultimately becomes a manifestation. Plato, 300 years BC, said the same thing. He said our beliefs and our thoughts create a spiritual prototype that mysteriously manifests in physical form. And that was 300 BC, for goodness sakes. So today we're going to be looking at that idea. What we are, we're part of a universal vibratory energy. That's what we are. And we're totally connected to the creative life force of the energy of the universe itself, the source of the universe itself. We are like a radio on its antenna. We're always emitting frequencies of vibration in all that we do. And these vibrations are picked up by what I call the electromagnetic field, the energy field of the universe itself, which is the essence of the universe itself. I know it's hard for us, it sounds like foo-foo. And a lot of people say, oh, Angelo, you're full of it. But the bottom line is I have the bottom line. Yeah, Dave, I told him I would never say that again in public. The bottom line. Anyway.
I don't think that's possible.
Anyway, what we've done is we've seen a manifestation of that reciprocal energy all this week, last week, and the week before. We've experienced it, and we'll get into it in a few minutes here. What are we here for? We're here to experience and to be participants in a universe, in the physical part of the universe, in this physical form, and experiencing it all. But we have the energy, we have the resources that were given to us as spiritual beings occupying bodies to be able to be the creator of our life experience. So what this month's all about is, how do we create? And you know, this idea of energy and vibration gives us back and helps us and determines how we're going to experience what's happening to us. How are we going to experience what's going on out there? And so, all of that's directly related to what we put out into the universe. We always mirror back what we put out there. Do we not? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And what happened is I was having my hair cut by Reverend Jenny. I was hoping she would be here, because I'm going to mention her. But Reverend Jenny, I'm sitting there in the barber chair, and she seemed down. And I said, what's going on, Jenny? Because she's usually up, you know, you've seen her, and she's expressing herself, and it's kind of cool. And she said, you know, for the last week or two, I've been feeling kind of down. And I said, Jenny, I've been feeling the same way. What's going on here? And so we started talking about that. And so we kind of philosophized, you know how Jenny gets, and she's into the clouds and all that, but we started. I wish you were here. Don't tell her I said that in the clouds. I said,
we're all calling her immediately.
But we came up with a spiritual idea, a theory. And what that theory was, Angelo and Jenny came up with this idea. We are so entangled with, Bob likes the word entanglement, we are so entangled and connected to our community. We're so entangled and connected to the people within our community that when they're confronted with, I call it not the anger, the dynamics of the nature itself, in the form of, let's say, fire. That we feel so connected to that vicariously, we are experiencing what they're experiencing in consciousness. We came out with this. That Angela, the reason you're down is you're experiencing in consciousness because you're so entangled and connected with your community that you're living that experience emotionally and in consciousness. Do we agree with that? It's kind of interesting. And so what came out of that for Angela was love and compassion. You know, how can I give more? How can I be part of this situation? And I'm doing this without getting emotional. I feel so good about that. Because I sat there a few minutes ago, I said, Angela, you're a Marine Major, for God's sakes. You don't need to get emotional about this. Anyway, that's what's happening here. So anyway, I'm succeeding a little bit. But anyway, so what we're giving out into the universe is this energies to the electromagnetic energy force in the universe, which is the source of the universe itself, the essence of the universe, love and compassion. Are we not? What's coming back? We mirror back what we give out. What's coming back is love and compassion, and we're seeing it permeated throughout our community. Stella and I decided that Friday afternoon, there's 2 fundraising activities going on. So we're going to go to one of them. There was one at Miller's Landing and the other one at the Queen's Inn. So we couldn't go to both, so we decided to go to Miller's Landing. And Stella says, let's get there early because there's maybe a crowd and we can get a parking spot. So we get there 45 minutes before it's supposed to start. 5:15, and we were shocked. There wasn't one parking spot in the area. I mean, people were jammed in there. We saw a line of folks that probably extended over a block and a half, almost an hour before it was supposed to start, waiting in line to give their $20 and more donation to the people who were collecting it. It's incredible. We got in line, and about an hour later, we're still in line. I looked back, and the line still huge again. It was incredible. And then many of our own people, I'm not going to mention names, many of you folks were there, our ministers were there, and waiting in line, happily waiting to give of themselves. What's that all about? We had other people, and I'm not going to mention her name, who's on the phone. She couldn't be there, but she's on the phone comforting people who were involved, telling them, showing them how they can get some support. It's kind of cool. We have other people, and I'm not going to mention his name back over there, but his Rotary clubs put together a fund at the local bank to collect money so people can give to that fund. We had so much going on. And what is that all about? Well, that's, again, the universe mirroring back love and compassion and support. So when we look at all of this, we can say, my gosh, this is pretty awesome. And so it's not foo-foo. We have a direct relationship to all that there is. And we are creative beings, and we need to get over it, because that's who we are. And so what's kind of neat about all that is, we got word late last night that over there at Miller's Landing, they collected $35,000. $35,000. And they have people contributing all the way from Kentucky. We had one guy, Matt Sands, I'll mention his name, he's our honorary mayor. He started a fund on Facebook, and within the first 53 minutes, they collected $5,000. In the first 53 minutes. And then they collected over $7,000. For what? To help a person who was renting a place, they're a young family who doesn't have a lot of money. They didn't have insurance, but they lost everything. And they collected enough money so that person can start over. You know, it's kind of amazing. So what this is all about is that we are connected in many, many beautiful ways. I want to mention what this all is all about as well. We can say that the word consciousness, I want to kind of get to it a little bit, just real briefly. What does the word conscious mean? From the Latin and Greek, I'm no Latin person. From the Latin and Greek, the con, the first part of the word, means with. The shus, the second part, means to know. And we need to realize that. What do we know with? Isn't that cool? Our conscious, what are we knowing with? Are we knowing with the fact that we're, oh gosh, we're not this magnificent creative life force. We're needy physical beings. And we're knowing with the idea that we need to pray for our greater good. We need to pray for stuff. Is that what we're knowing with? I think the important thing is to look at that and putting all that together, I have, I coined a word this morning, and it's new. You've never heard it before here. It's a new consciousness. It's universal. The tiny cabin consciousness. Can you say that for me? The
Tiny cabin consciousness.
Now, when I'm with the Marines, I can never use a story that they tell me, ever. Not in public. Well, I got this story about the tiny cabin consciousness that fits into my talk today. So I'm going to use it. It's kind of cool. And it pertains to what we're talking about. A social worker from Massachusetts, in its large city, Massachusetts, got reassigned to West Virginia, a little mountain community there. And here's this lady from the big city, and she said, I'm going to have to go and survey my territory and meet the folks and see what I'm up against here, because as a social worker, I've got to really help a lot of people. And there are times when I have to call Child Protective Services or have to bring in counseling and all that. So I need to know what I'm dealing with. So she's walking her territory, and she comes to a small house. It's probably the tiniest cabin she's ever seen. And she pounds on the door. And a voice, she says, anyone there? And a kid's voice says, me? She says, well, is your mom, is your pop there? Pa? No, he was here before I got here, and but he's gone. Well, is your mom there? No, my mom's not here either. She came right after my dad came, and she left when I first got here. And she said, oh my God. So immediately in her consciousness, to no whiff, in her consciousness said, oh my God, thank God I'm surveying my territory. I know what I'm dealing with here. We may be dealing with child abuse. We may be dealing with all kinds of bad things here. There's definitely going to have to be some counseling. And so she says, well, tell me this. Have you ever come together as a family there? And he said, no. And then she really got concerned. She says, my gosh, I may have to contact Children's Services because, you know, this could be child abuse. And she says, and she almost shouts, she says, well, why not?